You like that?
Right over me. Go right over me.
Oh, okay. I should have gotten that picture.
There we go. Where are we headed?
Dalí.
The Dalí.
The new Dalí.
Here we go.
St. Petersburg, Florida.
There you go, you gotta sing it.
Petersburg, USA. St. Petersburg, Florida. More than just another sunny day. We got things to do and places to see. The Mahaffey Theater and the Dalí.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Awesome. Moving, moving. Here's some moving. Here we go. Oh, hello. I love it. Oh, yeah.
OMG, Brad.
Oh, my God. This is beyond clever.
18 feet of
What is this?
It's a loaf of bread.
A long loaf. Why?
It's an 18-foot loaf of bread because Dalí had an 18-foot loaf of bread carried in a parade.
That's right.
So now we're carrying it.
That's very fun. Hello, hello. Hello. Are you happy today? What a day.
Oh, fabulous day. Magnifico.
How do you feel about your new museum?
It's unbelievable. I cannot believe it.
How does it look to you?
Great. Wonderful.
It's a new home.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
My new home. I'm so happy.
What do you think of your new home?
Lovely. I can't wait to move in.
It is fabulous. Oh my gosh, you couldn't have asked for better.
I don't. Somebody said.
Where do you find something like this? Run something.
Welcome to the grand opening of the new Dalí Museum. I'm Hank Hine, and it's my honor to be director of this museum at this great moment. The Roman architect and writer Vitruvius said in a letter to Julius Caesar that not only acquisition of lands ennoble a republic, but the creation of great dignified buildings. You are here today to see the opening, to bear witness to the opening of a great building. Let's take just one deep breath and realize for a moment that this day has arrived. Please take a seat. You join today with other members of our community who have interests just as diverse as your own, who have interests in family and children, in education and commerce, in culture and sports. And together with the elected officials, fellow citizens, the trustees and regents and royalty who have assembled today, you have come to see this building. What will you see? After our ceremony today, as you pass into the building, you will pass through the grotto. You will cross transforming water and see a living wall of plants. Our doors open with a whisper, and you enter the store. I have read that shopping is the last social experience left in America. So enjoy it here at the Dalí. Each of our store's products is chosen from a work and has a great explanation of Dalí's intent. Then you'll go to the staircase and see the central architectural feature, the sweeping helical staircase rising upwards. The spiral form drives the whole architectural concept of our museum. This form loops outward from its tightest coil, gathering and organizing all the space around it. The seashell grows in this same way, keeping its form while it grows, never changing. And this building, with its spacious galleries, its staircase, its gardens, began with a very tight single idea to protect this great collection of Dalí. The foyer contains the Café Gala, named both for the artist's wife and for the spirit of festivity that we hope will abide there. The Raymond James Community Room will provide a generous and technologically sophisticated space for meetings, conferences, discussions, banquets, all with a view of our beautiful garden. In the Raymond James Room today, you'll see the winners of the Hipstamatic contest, 70,000 downloads of the Dalí Museum app, and the applicants to make the most surreal image. Ascending the staircase or taking the high-speed elevators, you'll arrive at the Dyer Bay Vista with its stellar view of the Bay Area and our mathematically oriented and instructive gardens and our beautiful meditative labyrinth. To the south are the permanent galleries of the Tom and Mary James wing, where 95 of Dalí's oil paintings and a selection of drawings are displayed on beautiful tall walls or on wood veneer so warm, deployed in a circle, showing again that great arc of energy. To the north are the Huff galleries showing contemporary works in the future, and this year, the works of Dalí that point to the future. As the Catalan poet and philosopher Ramon Llull wrote, those who have opened their hearts to love and to God move toward the light, toward promise, toward the ascendant. Our building encourages this ascent. We rise to the promise art gives of emotional knowledge. We are part of this great helical sweep. What further will you gather into this arc? What will you deliver into this community and into your lives? Thank you for being here. I want you to welcome the president of our board, who has been the leader of this vision and this today accomplishment, Tom James.
Bienvenidos a Salvador Dalí Museo. It's with great pleasure that I introduce you to a wonderful edifice that holds the wonderful genius of Salvador Dalí. And we are so blessed here in St. Petersburg to have art like this assembled for the world to see, not just for us. And you will, when you leave here, after going through this, you will realize how much better the art is exhibited. What a wonderful piece of art this building itself is, both on the outside and on the inside. And this took a very long period of time, often torturous times. About 14 years. And remember, it started with the idea of protecting the art. So what you see before you is a wonderful edifice that combines security and safety with wonderful viewing areas that display this art in the manner which it deserves. So I'm not going to take a lot of time, but I would like to just thank the board. I would like to thank all of the staff of the Dalí Museum, led by our wonderful executive director, Hank Hine, now an expert in architecture and construction. I'd like to thank all of those in government and in private life that have contributed the finances to complete this building in very dire times. So, in a sense, I would tell you this is an event that one was never quite sure would ever be completed. And so it's with great pride that I stand before you to introduce you to this wonderful new museum. Now, I want you to just think for a minute. When you stand out there, if you haven't done it before at night, I ask you to come and witness what some here were calling this the St. Petersburg Lincoln Center. And believe me, we didn't contrive this in advance. The buildings were not built to go together. And yet, we have this wonderful complex here with Progress Energy Center and the Mahaffey Theater across. So I hope you will come down here more often. You will come at different times. You will bring your friends, for heaven's sakes, to introduce them to the wonders of Dalí. Thank you very much.
There are a number of heroes on the stage today, and towering among them is Bill Huff, our treasurer, who helped us complete this campaign. Mr. Huff.
My task is to thank the numerous contributors to this effort and to list the major contributors to the completion of the museum. We have, first of all, is the Tom and Mary James, which, with his foresight and dedication, made this possible. Frank and Carol Morsani, the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg. I'm listing all of the major contributors here. The people of St. Petersburg, the people of Pinellas County, the United States of America through the support of our Congressman Bill Young, and we had two anonymous givers of sizable contributions. the benefit committee of 2010. These ladies broke their backs to make possible a $100,000 gift, and I would like to acknowledge that. The Cheatham family, in memory of Marie Cook Cope, Lawrence and Vivi Dimmitt, the Frank E. Duckwall Foundation, the David and Harriet Dyer Family Foundation, the Francisco family, the Huff Family Foundation, the Honorable Eugene and Karen Lang Johnston, the McDougall family, Majid family, the Mark and Mary Ann Mahaffey, Alfred T. May, the Richard and Helen Mink, Brad G. Morris, Mary Ann Morris, and of course Reynolds Morris and Eleanor Morris, who gave this fabulous collection. The residents of the Park Shore Plaza 2010, the Risser family, the Alan W. and Janet Root, Gus and Francis Stavros, Lorna Taylor, Marty Rudy Wallace, Betty and Robert Willis, and Sally and Robert Willis Jr., Ted P. Whitner family, the J.H. Capital Advisors, Progress Energy, Public Supermarkets Charities, Raymond James, the Sembler Company, Times Publishing Company, and the High Museum, and also Elliot Weiser and Bay News Nunn, and of course my family contributed, and I would like to acknowledge that group. And so thank you very much, and let's give everybody, all of these contributors, applause. Thank you.
That list of major contributors is so long is an expression of the power and faith of this community, a power and faith that was reiterated to me numerous times by Mayor Ulrich, who said, "Be of good faith, we will get this job done, this community will make this happen." Mayor Ulrich.
On pain of being hooked after 2 minutes by this large hook over here, I will attempt briefly to describe to you the process which took place in creating the excellence and sufficiency of the building that's before you. It probably is best illustrated by a children's allegory entitled "The Little Engine That Could," only with one major difference. Instead of a singular subject, we'll need a plural subject. So we see this community's little engine chuffing up a hill to an improbable summit, uttering as it goes, "We think we can, we think we can, we think we can, we think we can, we knew we could, we knew we could, and we did it." Some 14 years with the solid support of the federal government, the state of Florida, Pinellas County, and the city of St. Petersburg. An alignment of leadership, of talent, of timing, of teamwork, of perseverance. These were the attributes that made this community, enabled it to perform the excellence of this building. We overcame the difficulty of the economic times. So what you see before you today is a symbol of the resolute will of this community to create a world-class art museum for a world-class art collection. Thank you.
Indeed, world class characterizes this building. Please welcome Jan Weymouth, its architect.
Su Alteza Real, Su Excelencia el Duce, Su Excelencia Embajador de España, e invitados distinguidos. 44 years ago, I began my architectural career designing museums, first for and with the great I.M. Pei as his chief of design for the East Wing of the National Gallery in Washington, D.C. And then for the Grand Louvre project in the same role in Paris, on that pyramid there. More recently, I'm very proud of the Hazel Huff Wing of the Museum of Fine Arts, just down the way here in St. Petersburg. When I won the international competition to design the new Dalí in very early 2003, the challenges were to create an icon befitting the great artist and the Morse collection that would serve as a symbol of excellence and endure through the ages. It's been a wonderful experience that can be summed up in 3 words. The first is inspiration, not just from the artist and the art itself, but from the country of Spain, where I have often visited and lectured, a country that I truly love, and from which my wife counts her ancestors. The second word is innovation. This is the first time ever this new structure that we created has been used in North America. And there's nothing like this new museum anywhere in the world. The third word is collaboration, because this is more than a building, because this is a symbol of the relationship between the people of Spain and the United States. It is the result of an intense collaboration between our teams of experts, our supporters, and our community. Ha sido un honor y un privilegio servir como vuestro arquitecto.
Jan, I want to leave everyone with a thought. This museum would have pleased the Morse founders, Eleanor and Reynolds, and even equally important, it brings together new science and technology with the beauty of our community, and that would have pleased Salvador Dalí. And now I would like to introduce the man who helped bring the Dalí collection to St. Petersburg, Jim Martin.
Thank you. Here's what I read in the Wall Street Journal 30 years ago. Cleveland, January 18th, 1980. Reynolds Morse, a machinery designer in this city, is a bit disenchanted with the art world. At a time when a painting can fetch $300,000, he cannot find any takers for his multi-million-dollar collection of Salvador Dalí art. His offer seems more than reasonable. All a museum needs to do is to provide a permanent home and agree to keep the collection all together, and Mr. Morse will hand over the collection free of charge. I thought that was interesting. Mr. Morse and his wife Eleanor, the article said, debated selling the collection themselves, but decided its value as a panorama of Dalí's career is too great to scatter. To get a complete idea of Dalí, you have to go to Cleveland, I can't think of any private collection of works by one artist as complete as this is, said Sotheby's. The world's most complete collection of art of Dalí for free? Who are these Morses? The article went on. The 65-year-old Dalí aficionado believes his art collection could put a smaller art museum on the map by specializing in a single artist. I wondered why art museums hadn't already jumped at this offer. The article said, the director of the Cleveland Museum of Art says that while Dalí is certainly a well-known artist, I cannot conceive of a museum taking on the problem of finding so much exhibition and storage space for any modern artist. So the Morses need a place to keep the collection intact forever, a permanent home. Existing art museums think it's too large, that it would overwhelm their own collections. I wonder if St. Petersburg could be the place. I kept reading this article. It said Mr. Morse wants to give their Dalí collection more exposure in an established museum, preferably in a tourist area, which Cleveland, of course, is not. Well, except for today, we are a tourist area. Sun, sand, and Dalí sounded pretty good. So I called Mr. Morse many times that week in 1980. He finally took my cold call, and I pitched St. Petersburg as the home for the permanent collection, or for the permanent home. I called my friend and accountant Jim Lang. He put together a group of community leaders, Jim Healy, Jack Lake, Rick Dodge, to back the effort. The city, the county, the state, and federal governments rallied to the cause. The city offered the land for $1 a year. The state granted $2 million to renovate the Marine Warehouse into an art museum, and the collection moved in a dozen trucks just 9 months later to 1000 3rd Street South. The museum's been here for 31 years now. It has a new home to complete our pledge to preserve the collection intact forever, or at least 99 years. And here today to complete the Morse's pledge is Brad Morse, son of the late Reynolds and Eleanor Morse, and a fellow trustee of the museum, to sign over the remaining 2 paintings from the Morse pledge. Brad?
A sort of sidebar to complete that. It is with great pleasure that I present to the state of Florida, under the care of the museum's Board of Trustees, the remainder of my parents' collection for the enjoyment of the state's and the world's citizens. Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, Honorable Mayor and the former mayors, members of the Dalí Board of Trustees, esteemed museum supporters, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I didn't miss anyone. As you know, I am Brad Morse, son of Reynolds and Eleanor Morse, who undertook collecting many works of Salvador Dalí as one of their lifelong goals. From their first exposure to Salvador Dalí's art at an exhibit in 1942 in Cleveland, Ohio, both inferred from his images both a keen mind with insights into important issues of the day, such as the use of the telephone for international relations, and the ability to commit to canvas using a talented, trained mastery of many mediums. Growing up, I watched the collection expand and fill the wall space in my parents' home on Chagrin Boulevard in Beechwood, Ohio. Eventually, notre mort vivant was hung over the bed in my bedroom. As I reflect on the fact that the painting's objects coincide with the golden section from the Fibonacci series as described by mathematician Matilda Geica, I wonder if the images had a subliminal effect on me, since I have always enjoyed math and graduated from Lehigh University with a Bachelor of Science in Engineering. Judging from my parents, I think there is a desire among collectors to share their creation with others, as attested to by their granting permission to countless persons who called to inquire if they could see the collection in their home. In 1972, much of the collection was moved from their home to the upstairs north office wing of the IMS Company building in Beechwood, about a mile east of their home, for viewing by appointment. With taxation a motivator, but with the goal of making the collection available to an ever wider audience, the entire collection, including books and prints, was moved to Florida in 1982, as Jim has explained. Hundreds of thousands of visitors have had the experience of viewing the collection at 1000 3rd Street South. Now we move to a new era, the fourth home of the Morse collection, which overcomes the 4 prior limitations of its third home. I'm thinking this is redundant of the speakers. For safety, the building is designed to withstand a Category 5 hurricane, and the collection is located on the 3rd floor above the floodplain. There is space for permanent display of all the oil paintings instead of about half, as well as another wing for prints or special shows. There is a 96-person theater equipped for lectures or films, as well as the Raymond James Room. And finally, a cafe for just socializing and or discussing Dalí's art. Try to imagine the countless hours of effort, from ground lease to architecture to construction, expended to make this dream a reality. Time and effort were provided from so many areas. Our honored guests from Spain, city, county, state, and federal officials, the Dalí Museum Board of Trustees, and many individual donors. Let me give a name to this entire group. Team Dalí. My paternal grandmother told the story of a gentleman asked to speak after receiving an award. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, when I say something, I mean it. Thank you." Speaking on behalf of my parents and family, thank you to everyone involved, Team Dalí, for creating this great edifice, the new home of the Morse collection, as emblazoned above the entry door in commemoration of my parents' gifts. Thank you.
As we enter this new era, we have a new treasure, a man who follows in the very deep footsteps of Bill Huff, Andy Corti.
Good morning, and thank you. It's an honor to stand today before so many citizens of St. Petersburg, leaders from around Florida, guests from Washington, D.C., and special guests from the great Kingdom of Spain. Today, I represent the Board of Trustees of the Dalí Museum, and since Bill Huff is still the treasurer today, he covered the money side, and I'd like to talk for a moment about community. We must ask, what is a museum? It's certainly more than canvas and paint, and more than even a pretty building, even if it's a wonderful edifice. A museum is an idea. It's a place to admire beauty. It's a place to contemplate our very existence, to think about the past and the present and the future. A museum is a place to congregate with family and friends. A great museum like the Dalí lifts us all up. The author Richard Florida has written about the rise of the creative class and how important this group of educated, active citizens is to any city. Creative types attract more like-minded creative people, and this totality is where St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay shine. While we're opening the Dalí Museum, we also recognize our brothers and sisters in other cultural institutions around the area, whether they are the Museum of Fine Arts, the Holocaust Museum, the Chihuly, the Tampa Museum, the Ringling, and so many more. We recognize artists, both professional and amateur. We recognize the sculptors who live here. We recognize the art galleries and craft shops that call St. Petersburg home. Because together, one by one, all of these cultural institutions combine to make a vibrant environment to live and work and play. The excitement that we see here at this waterfront setting bodes very, very well for our city and our state. I congratulate everyone involved in the vision for the new Dalí Museum and welcome this magnificent jewel to our city and our waterfront. Thank you.
And of those who have contributed to the organization of these events, none has worked harder or more effectively than Kathy Martin.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming from down the street and from Spain and anywhere else. When I married Jim Martin, I knew that the whole Dalí family came with the deal. In our house, it is indeed all Dalí, all the time. Especially in the last year when we were honored and privileged to be asked to help make the new museum opening events, celebrations, logistics, all of it a reality and a success. Honored and privileged and blown away by the enormity of an undertaking so many years in the planning and involving so many moving elements and dimensions. So let me begin by thanking the folks who let us do it, because I don't think I've ever had so much fun. The trustees and especially Dr. Hine, who trusted us. And then I have to thank the little team of volunteers who stay in St. Pete all summer long, and the dedicated staff who taught me a new language with new words like ten-top, strike, and my personal favorite, pipe and drape it. Laura Hine is a brilliant project manager and is now one of my personal heroes. The woman has skills. And Karen Johnson, a new mentor. I've been in and out of the building almost daily since the summer, once the air conditioning was installed, and it's absolutely breathtaking. When I first saw the art installed, it literally brought me to tears because I could see that it was home where it belonged, in a beautiful new home. But it wasn't until Sunday, on Member Day, sitting in the cafe, watching old members, new members, old friends, new friends, all together exploring the nooks and crannies and grounds, and I realized that we all have a new addition to our homes too. It's a place to show off to our guests from up north, proudly. A place to invite our new friends that we meet in our own travels. It's a stunning and recognizable landmark on our amazing legacy, the waterfront, and a gathering spot for meeting our friends for coffee and maybe a quick bite. It's a place where we all feel comfortable and proud to bring our families and extended families. So we have the art, we have the architecture, but I think most importantly, we have all of you. Something that is also rare and beautiful, and it's our warm and supportive and welcoming community that will make the Salvador Dalí Museum in St. Petersburg the unique story that it is and that it always was. As fate would have it, this happens to be my wedding anniversary today. Yes, my 14th wedding anniversary. And I would like to thank my amazing husband for this wonderful gift. Thank you.
Happy anniversary, Jim and Kathy. Millions of citizens of this planet have visited the Dalí Museum over its years, as you know. And each of them has had the opportunity, and many of them have had the experience of being greeted by our volunteers and docents. And these docents have given interpretation, understanding, meaning to the works of Dalí in their own personal way. Sandra Woodworth is president of the Volunteer Council. We welcome her.
Good morning. It's my privilege to represent the volunteer community. In general terms, volunteering is the practice of people working on behalf of others. Volunteering is generally considered an altruistic activity, but people volunteer for various reasons. Volunteering gives you an opportunity to change lives, but also an opportunity to have your life changed. We now have a majestic museum housing and safeguarding our incredible collection. But in order for the museum to be more than just a storehouse, I believe the Morrises envisioned how instrumental the volunteers would be in keeping the art alive. They knew the volunteers would be the heartbeat of the museum, and we keep that heartbeat going as we greet and educate visitors from all over the world. So when they return home, they remember. They remember they have experienced something extraordinary by spending time at the Dalí. The Morrises gave us attention, a sense of value, and guided each of us on a path to find our rightful place as individuals in the scheme of things within the Dalí community. For those who did not know the Morrises, the legacy has been passed from volunteer to volunteer, from Del Corazon, from the heart. As the volunteer community moves forward, we are creating traditions, and one begins today. I would like to ask the members of the 2011 Volunteer Council to please stand. Pam Whitaker, our vice chair, is placing flowers on her chair in remembrance of the Morrises and all those volunteers who are no longer with us, but also for those who will join us in the future in our new home. And now, would all the volunteer community who have so generously dedicated over 12,000 hours last year to this incredible museum, please either stand or raise your hand and be recognized and welcome to your new home. So on behalf of the volunteer community, thank you. It's been our privilege. And please go forth, Del Corazon, from the heart.
One of the joys of working in a museum of an artist so well known is to be greeted around the world with certain phrases and images that are known. Our trustee, Jeff Goodby, has created such phrases as are well known. He is the creator of the Got Milk advertising campaign, which has become a cultural icon. Jeff Goodby.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here today. I didn't bring any prepared remarks, and I think I'm happy about that because they just blow away anyway. Congratulations to those of you who dressed up for this. I love that. It's adding a lot to it for me. I come from San Francisco, as Hank said, and being from there, I realized the import of what's going on today. The whole world is watching this place today. It's a wonderful thing, and they're going to come here. The thing about this place is it's going to be a destination. People are going to come here to see this wonderful building, to see this wonderful collection, and they're going to fill your restaurants. They're going to fill your beaches. I had a hard time getting a cab over here today. That will get worse. And they'll fill your hotels. And we know that that's very important to this place. And I've watched this process from afar, and I know how well that's going to work. And I'm very proud of it, and I'm proud of the work that the trustees and Hank have done to create this. As you know, Dalí famously said, "I don't do drugs, I am drugs." And in a way, what we're seeing here are people under the spell of a guy who hasn't walked the earth for 2 decades now. And this building was built in that spirit. This collection was put together in that spirit. And it's a spirit of fun and youthfulness, and that's why people will come here. It's a magnet. That spirit is the magnet. There's a fountain of youth So it's right here. I tried it the other night. It doesn't seem to be kicking in yet. But I think what people really come here for is the spirit of youth that is now inside the building. The real fountain of youth is inside the building, and people come here for that. Thank you. Have fun with it.
In our desire to present Dalí, to aggrandize Dalí in the world of art, and to allow the world to share Dalí, we have a terrific partner, and it is the Fundación Gala Salvador Dalí in Figueres, the theater museum that Dalí himself created. The executive director of that museum, Juan Manuel Sevillano, is here with us.
Mayor, former Mayor, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. Today marks the end of a journey and the beginning of a new one. For the last 12, 15 years, we've been witnessing from Figueres, witnessing the endeavors of the Salvador Dalí Museum in pursuing this project. And today, this magnificent building stands as an outstanding achievement for the leadership of this organization, for the human team of this organization, and more so for the vibrancy and confidence in the future of this community. As we look on from the other side of the Atlantic, we cannot help but have a sense of shared pride. And it is the pride we feel for the success of our friends. I think we are now eager to start with a new trip, with a new journey. We're eager to see how a reinforced and consolidated Salvador Dalí Museum as a major art institution in the world will re-inject our relationship, which has been long, fruitful, friendly, and extremely intense, how that is re-energized. The number of blockbuster exhibitions around the world we will organize, the number of academic projects we will initiate, how are we going to explore the improvement of our contribution to our respective communities. There's a world of opportunity out there, and it can only get better, so I can't get started with a new trip. The Gala Salvador Dalí Foundation was created in 1982 to manage Dalí's estate by Dalí himself and to protect his legacy and show it around the world. Today, as managing director of the foundation, and more so as a Spaniard, I'm proud again, because with the presence of Her Royal Highness, with His Excellency the Duke of Palma, and with His Excellency the Ambassador of Spain to the United States, my country is underlining the importance we give to Salvador Dalí's legacy within an already huge cultural heritage. And not only that, it also makes a point as to how much we value the Salvador Dalí Museum's contribution to the tremendous job we have to pursue. So I know I speak in my name, I speak in the name of Mr. Luis Peñuelas, our Secretary General, who is here with us today, and I speak for everybody back else home in Figueres when we commend you and we wish you the best for the future. Thank you.
Tom James spoke about this Lincoln Center, this wonderful potential for collaboration that the museum's presence here creates. We have other collaborators. We have the Marine Science, we have SRI, we have all our fellow arts organizations, and we have this great university, the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg, Dr. Margaret Sullivan.
Your Royal Highness, Your Excellency, and a covey of mayors and distinguished guests. It is indeed a pleasure to be here today, but I'd like you to think of the importance, the significance of the collection, the nature of Dalí, the essence of innovation, of creativity, of cutting-edge thinking, the avant-garde garden. Take a look at this building. Would it have been designed this way were it not for the extraordinary works of this man? In terms of education, I speak for the university, Is this for the university? Is this for the students at Egbert College? Is this for the students at St. Pete College? Is this for Pinellas County Schools? The child development centers that we see around us. Each one of these children, each one of these university students will come here and see the world in a different way. The buildings that will be designed in the future will represent the experience that they have here. Each day as we woke up this morning, we thought, this is a great day for the Dalí. This is a great day for St. Petersburg. But indeed, that is thinking in a very small way. This is a great day for the world, as St. Petersburg is at the center of the world today, and education is at the center of the world today as well. What we would hope to do with the Dalí, with all university and elementary students and children, is to expand their thinking, to move beyond a building, to take on ideas, and to conquer the difficult world these children and students will face tomorrow. Again, thank you for being here. It is a wonderful day in St. Petersburg.
Indeed, we think globally, and to get to that level, we have to also think locally. We have this beautiful Bay Area, and there are these things called bridges, which we must surmount. This is Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, Pasco County, Manatee County, all joining together. We're honored to have Mayor Pam Iorio here today. Mayor Iorio, will you make a remark?
I just say congratulations. What a jewel this is, not only for St. Petersburg and not only for the region, but for the entire nation and across the globe. What a story everyone has shared today. And I am so proud of everyone who made this happen, and very, very pleased to be able to be here today to represent the other side of the bay, because this is truly a regional treasure. Congratulations to all.
Four years ago, former Mayor Ulrich and I sat in Mayor Baker's office, and we went there with the vision of asking him to give us this land for the Dalí. And before we could make that request, he had a proposal. Move to this site. Mayor Baker.
Good morning. Today truly is another great day in St. Petersburg. I would like to thank and acknowledge Tom James and Hank Hine and the entire board of the Dalí for their leadership, and especially for their tenacity in bringing today to a reality. The Dalí Museum is a community jewel, and it is a jewel that has been put together by the entire community. We could say a lot of things about this ribbon cutting of the new Dalí Museum today, but in a word, it is simply one of the most important events in the history of our city. Thank you for being part of it.
You don't have to put the microphone down so low after you talk. In a tradition of great mayors, and particularly from the point of view of the arts community, we honor Mayor Bill Foster, and we are so thankful for the support that he has shown us and continues to show the Dalí and the entire arts community. Mayor Foster.
I wish you could see what I'm looking at. You all look absolutely marvelous. This is a very proud moment for the entire Tampa Bay area, and especially for the city of St. Petersburg and Pinellas County. We are graced by the presence of the royal family. We thank you, His Excellency the Ambassador, and visitors from Figueres. We thank you for sharing this moment with us. And as I toured the facilities, and there's a donor wall, and you've heard the names You've heard the organizations that support this great museum, and as you walk through the galleries, you'll see names on certain walls. And so we know that we've had a lot of people that are, were it not for people, were it not for somebody, we would not be here today. But I am here to tell you that were it not for the people of the city of St. Petersburg and the people of Pinellas County, we certainly would not be here today. Because it was by your vision, the people of this area, that supported a referendum to use city waterfront land to build this now landmark, this iconic structure that is suitable to house the works of Dalí. Were it not for the county commission and the city council of the city of St. Petersburg, in this collaborative effort, we would not be here today. So this is indeed a proud moment on behalf of the people of the city of St. Petersburg. I proudly accept this iconic, beautiful structure along this beautiful waterfront. It has been a wonderful journey that we have all been through this past couple of years. And again, finally we have a building that is worthy of housing some of the greatest art by one of the greatest artists that we've come to know. So yes, mayors will come and go, executive directors will come and go, city councils, county commissioners, all of that. But this art and this collection dedicated to the people of the world will be here, as Jim Martin said, for 99 years. He forgot to tell you, you have a 99-year option after that. So this art will be here for all of you to enjoy, because it is for you that many great people have gone to a lot of trouble. God bless you and thank you.
These connections are so remarkably personal. When I visited Washington to ask Ambassador Descayar if he would join in the tradition of ambassadors of Spain to the United States and join the Board of Trustees, he told me a touching story of having lunch with Salvador Dalí himself as a young man. It's remarkable, and we are honored to have the Ambassador of Spain to the United States, His Excellency Jorge Descayar, here.
I have to lower this. Your Royal Highness, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, buenos dias y congratulations. I think it is indeed a great day for St. Petersburg. It's a great day for the world of art in the world at large. And I think it's very befitting that this takes place in Florida, which is a land so closely linked to Spain. We are going to celebrate in 2 years the 500th anniversary of the arrival here of Ponce de Leon, and we intend to make a big celebration of that. And I think it's very good that 500 years later we Floridans and Spaniards keep on doing things together. And I remember, it's true what Hank told you. I was a young diplomat in New York many years ago, and I was in charge of cultural affairs. And I wanted to meet with Salvador Dalí, so I called him. He was staying at the hotel there, St. Regis. So I called him and said, Maestro, I'd like to meet with you. He said, well, of course, invite me for lunch. And I said, well, yes, with pleasure. And he said, but I only accept the La Grenouille. He said, whatever you say, sir, La Grenouille. So I went there, and I was waiting for him, because I arrived before, time in advance. And I was there waiting for him, and he arrived with 8 friends. And I had no money. And they did not accept credit cards. So I had to leave my watch, and I was broke for the rest of the month. and that was my meeting with him. So it's, but then we had to develop a very good relationship, I should say. He had come to this country with his wife Gala to seek refuge after fleeing Europe in 1940. He spent very fruitful years in America, where he worked extensively, not only painting, but also, as you know, illustrating and writing. It was during Dalí's time in the United States that he published his autobiography, The Secret Life of Salvador Dalí, which received immediate international praise. And it was also this time that he began his association with Hollywood. He worked with such greats as Walt Disney in Destino, and with Alfred Hitchcock in Spellbound. He was a man of so many faces. There was a wonderful exhibition a few years ago at the Reina Sofia Museum in Madrid about this film experience in the life of Salvador Dalí. But even more important for us today is the fact that it was during this time that he met his long-time friends and patrons, Mr. and Mrs. Morse, whose passion and dedication for Dalí's work led to the creation of one of the largest private collections of his work, and eventually to the founding of this museum back in 1982. A dream come finally true thanks to the efforts of people like Hank Fine, Brad Morse, and Tom James, with all your support. Dalí's legend and legacy continues to live on thanks to initiatives and projects such as this new Salvador Dalí Museum, an awesome building we have here, the architect with us, inspired greatly in Dalí's works and designed exclusively for this collection. Dalí, I'm sure, would be very happy to be here today and would feel also at home in this beautiful building. I predict that a lot of people will be coming here in the next years, to visit this museum and being attracted by this wonderful museum that we have here from now on. Thank you, all of you, for coming today and for joining us in celebrating the opening of these wonderful new facilities. And I want to express our special thanks to Her Royal Highness, the Infanta Cristina, and her husband, the Duke of Palma de Mallorca, who have been kind enough to grace us with their presence today. Thank you very much, all of you. Alteza Real, por favor.
Please sit down. Mayor Foster, Ambassador of Spain, Consul General of Spain, Deputy Mayor Figueras, Brad and Marianne Morse, Mr. Chairman and members of the board of the Dalí Museum, Jim and Kathy Martin, Mr. Director and members of the museum, Mr. Sevillano and Mr. Peñuelas of the Gala Salvador Dalí Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, Dalí team. Thank you very much for inviting me to this opening ceremony at the new Salvador Dalí Museum in the beautiful city of St. Petersburg. Believe me, it is a real pleasure and a privilege to address you all in this very important ceremony. The art collection which Mr. and Mrs. Morse assembled through years of dedicated and passionate collecting has become one of the paramount collections of Dalínian works in the world. When they acquired their first work by Salvador Dalí, they could not have imagined that decades later we would be honoring them, their friend Salvador Dalí, and the art they felt so passionate about. Today the collection has moved into a new home built specifically for the collection and inspired by the artist's life and works. A handsome, audacious building which evokes the waves of the Mediterranean Sea and the rolling plains of the Empordà, the very beautiful Catalan land in the northeastern Spain with a magic light full of legends and mysteries. The place where Dalí was born and grew up, where Dalí's genius coalesced and came into being. The place that Reynolds and Eleanor Morse loved and to which they returned year after year. This new museum offers an unparalleled setting for Americans to better understand the intimate link of Dalí's art with Spain, showing not only how the land, the light, and the sea are a constant reference in Dalí's paintings, but also how the wealth and depth of our culture permeate Dalí's legacy. In doing so, the Dalí will help to strengthen the enduring connection between our two countries, which started 7 miles from here almost 5 centuries ago. The Dalí brings the future forward, enabling new generations to discover Dalí's gift of imagination to the world in a superb setting of state-of-the-art, home for one of the creative geniuses of the 20th century. The new building provides renewed opportunities for education and discovery by young and old, countless hours of enjoyment and personal growth for residents and visitors alike, as well as academic research opportunities. The Dalí collection is now perfectly housed and protected by the most advanced security technologies and building design. These are all exciting prospects for this new museum that will more than justify the huge effort put into its creation. The city of St. Petersburg gains a landmark and an outstanding beacon of cultural activity, a museum of international prestige. It will significantly project the visibility of the city and the surrounding region of the world, and bring the world to St. Petersburg. We should not forget that the cultural heritage, well managed, is without a doubt a powerful wealth-generating asset. Very few cities have the privilege of nurturing a world-class cultural asset of the Dalí's caliber. It is the community's responsibility to find ways to profit from this remarkable museum while at the same time respecting and strengthening it. I encourage the city of St. Petersburg and the surrounding region, together with all its citizens, to work with the Salvador Dalí Museum to achieve sustainable cooperation programs and thus ensure fruitful and enduring results for all. We owe this to future generations. The abundant academic, artistic, and legal work carried out in Spain, the United States, and all around the world during the last decade has stressed Salvador Dalí's rightful place in the 20th century art. In this context, the Salvador Dalí Museum has gone well beyond its initial activity of protecting and managing a superb collection of works of art. Its academic and artistic endeavors have afforded it a recognizable and respected place among the world's specialized institutions of modern art. The importance of this opening today is twofold. We are not only celebrating a new home for the collection, but more importantly, we are celebrating the strengthening of the Salvador Dalí Museum as a steadfast pillar of Dalí's universal legacy. As a member of the Board of Trustees of the Gala Salvador Dalí Foundation, I am fully aware of the efforts and challenges of protecting and promoting Dalí's legacy. Salvador Dalí, our founder, defined our institutional mission in clear terms: to defend, protect, promote, and disseminate his legacy around the world. The Salvador Dalí Museum has stood by us and has proven itself a worthy ally in numerous difficult situations. I am pleased to see that an ever closer friendship has developed between our two institutions, a friendship that is sure to grow as the Salvador Dalí Museum opens a new and exciting chapter in its history with this extraordinary new building. Let me finish by expressing my warmest congratulations and very best wishes to all those who have made possible this wonderful achievement. Thank you very much.
Alteza Real, will you cut the ribbon and officially open the new Dalí Museum?